In this explainer, we're going to break down the core ideas from Dr. Lindsay Gibson's book, Adult Children of Emotionally Immature Parents. Our whole goal here is to give you the key insights so you can decide if it's the right read for you.
All right, let's just jump right in with a question that, well, it might just flip everything you thought you knew about family on its head.
And that right there, that is the wild, counterintuitive idea at the absolute core of Dr. Gibson's work. It suggests that while we always think of parents as the grown-ups, sometimes it's the child who's more emotionally developed. And that imbalance, it creates a very specific and very deep kind of wound.
You know, if you've ever had that feeling, that kind of vague, nagging emptiness, like you're alone even in a room full of people, and you just can't figure out why, well, this book suggests there's actually a name for that. It's not about a lack of food or a roof over your head, but a deep lack of real emotional connection.
So that brings us to our first big takeaway. The problem, the core issue the book identifies, is something called emotional loneliness. It finally gives a name to this invisible pain that so many people carry around without even knowing what it is.
And let's be super clear here. This isn't about, just being by yourself. It's that private, hollow feeling you get when you're not really seen or met on an emotional level, especially by a parent. It's like you're reaching out for a connection and nothing. No one's there on the other end.
This quote from one of the author's clients, wow, it just nails that feeling, doesn't it? It's like you're floating in this giant, empty ocean, totally alone. You're growing up with this huge hole where a solid foundation of feeling safe and secure should be. Okay, so what causes this? This is where the book makes a really, really important distinction. It argues that this deep loneliness usually isn't caused by parents who are bad or mean on purpose. No, it's caused by parents who are emotionally immature. Basically, they don't have the tools for a real deep emotional connection. The book puts it this way, and I love this. Trying to get real emotional support from them is like trying to charge your phone with a banana. The source just isn't equipped to give you the energy you need. And to help us really get a handle on this, the book breaks it down into 4 main types of immature parents. Figuring out which one of these you might have dealt with can be a total game changer for understanding your own experience. So let's walk through them.
First up, you've got the emotional parent. Think of them like an emotional tornado. Their moods just take over the whole house. When they're upset, everybody's got to drop everything to manage their feelings, which, you can imagine, is a huge weight for a kid to carry.
Next, there's the driven parent. For them, life is all about achievement, hitting goals. And their kids, they can feel like just another project on the to-do list. They're always getting feedback on how to improve, but they rarely feel truly seen or loved just for who they are right here, right now.
Then we have the passive parent. Now this one can be tricky because they often seem really nice. They hate conflict. But because they avoid difficult stuff, they often don't step in to protect their child when it really matters, leaving the kid feeling totally on their own.
And last, there's the rejecting parent. This is maybe the most straightforward. For a child, trying to connect with them is exactly like running up for a big hug only to have a door slammed right in your face. It's just a brick wall. Any attempt to get close is actively shut down.
Okay, so after laying all this out, the problem, the cause, the different types, the book pivots to what is honestly the most powerful part. This is our third big takeaway. The solution isn't about trying to fix them. It's all about healing yourself.
So many people have this little voice in the back of their head, this fantasy. The book actually calls it a healing fantasy. It's the hope that if I just try harder, or if I say the right thing, they'll finally change. The book asks you to let that fantasy go, and instead to grab onto the reality that the only person you have real power over is you.
And this is where it gets super practical. The book gives you a whole new strategy for how to actually relate to them. This isn't about cutting them out of your life, necessarily. It's about changing how you show up. So, step 1, observe, don't absorb. You start watching their behavior like a scientist, with curiosity, instead of getting sucked into their emotional drama. Step 2, step away from your role. You stop playing that part you were always assigned, the peacemaker, the responsible one, whatever it was. And step 3, and this is huge, focus on the outcome, not the relationship. Instead of desperately trying to force a deep connection that just isn't there, you manage the conversation to get what you practically need, while protecting your own energy and peace.
So, after all that, after this quick tour through some pretty deep ideas, we're back where we started. Should you read this book? Is it for you?
Look, if any of this stuff we've talked about today has made you go, wait a minute, that sounds familiar, then this book could be a real light bulb moment. It gives you a map, a way to finally make sense of a childhood that might have left you feeling confused, invisible, or even wondering if you were the problem. And it's really important to get this. The book is not about blaming your parents. It's not a tool for pointing fingers. The whole point is to build compassion, but first and foremost, for yourself. It's about understanding what happened so you can finally, genuinely heal.
And that really brings us to the final, powerful question the book kind of leaves sitting in the air for you. Is it worth the discomfort of looking at the past to finally get the freedom to live your own life on your own terms? That journey, it can definitely be tough, but the promise is a future that's more authentic, more connected, and way more free. The only real question left is, are you ready to start?